you checked out all the new handicappers at WagerTalk? If not, here's your chance. You can take 50% off your first daily or 3-day all-access purchase at WagerTalk using coupon code TRYWT. Our new roster of experts is 30 deep, covering sports from all around the world, giving you tons of options to choose from. All you have to do to redeem this offer is go to WagerTalk.com, choose a handicapper of your choice, and use coupon code TRYWT at checkout, saving 50% on your first purchase.
Welcome to Wager Talk Today. I'm Lawrence Prez and Teddy covers. We've been screaming and yelling at each other for 3 fucking minutes. Whoops, I swore. Welcome to the best daily sports betting show on the planet. Teddy, who's on today?
Let's talk about what we have for a loaded Friday show. Obviously, 4 major sports plus the World Cup going at the same time. NHL, NBA, college football, bowl season starts this week. And, of course, a loaded NFL card on today's show. Dave Cokin is going to kick us off. He's going to talk about Southern Miss and Rice in the Lending Tree Bowl, college hoops, Creighton and Marquette, and the Islanders and Coyotes game in the NHL. Ralph Michaels is going to join us next. In the NBA, he's going to talk Cavs, Pacers. In college hoops, he's going to talk Xavier, Georgetown, and he's going to talk about the Frisco Bowl between North Texas and Boise State. Andy Lang's going to close out the show. He's got a prop for us for the Cleveland-Baltimore game. He's got a prop for us for the Miami-Buffalo game in NFL action. And he's going to talk about the Philadelphia 76ers tonight and their team total in NBA action as well. My big game breakdown, a little NFL talk. We'll talk some Ravens and Browns. And, of course, Prez, your presidential address to close out the show if we get our 100 likes, or at least close. There you have it. Friday show locked and loaded. Let's roll.
Teddy covers, before we bring Dave in, real quick. Brock Purdy yesterday, 17 for 26, 8.3 yards in the air, average 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. What are we seeing here?
We're seeing a quarterback who is better than the backup. He's as good as Jimmy G. He might be better. He's not making the mistakes that Jimmy G made.
So I lost. I had 2 prop bets last night in NFL. One was McCaffrey touchdown. He got it for me. One was over 37.5 yards for McCaffrey. He had 30 yards in the first quarter. Didn't get another sniff again. One of the last plays of the game, they ran the wheel route, naked bootleg wheel route, whatever. McCaffrey running down the side, Brock Purdy running to the right. McCaffrey was there for the throw over the middle. I was like, yes, yes, yes. And instead he ran and took the first down, stayed in bounds. Betting aside, what an unbelievable heads-up play by this kid. I think we're seeing something very special here. And all of a sudden, I'm cheering for the San Francisco 49ers. Dave Cokin joining us. Dave, any thoughts on Brock Purdy? I mean, wow.
Yeah, it's funny how things work out sometimes, because Trey Lance was supposed to be the starter. He got hurt, and quite honestly, I think there was some question about whether he was going to be able to be the starter. Jimmy G comes in. We know he's kind of a known quantity. Not the worst quarterback in the world, but not a guy who's likely to lead you to the promised land. And here comes Brock Purdy. And funny how things work out. I think it's fair to say the 49ers probably have a better chance to get to the Super Bowl with Brock Purdy than they do with the other 2 guys.
Yeah. It's amazing. I'm so excited about this kid. I love these stories in sports. I know, Teddy, all you care about is wins and losses. I love the human interest stuff.
Sure, but if you paid attention to college football the last 4 years, Brock Purdy having success in the NFL is not a surprise. All right, this is a guy who came in as a freshman in college and showed. I didn't think he's going to be a stud, Dave. I don't think he's going to be an NFL starter. I don't think he's going to be the long-term starter. But he wasn't a quarterback at any point that cost his team games.
Right.
No,
He's a quarterback.
I'll give you that.
Who was,
But for him to be this good this soon, That's the stunner.
It helps a lot when you have a running game and a defense. Brock Purdy
sure.
hasn't had to play from behind,
But he's
San
playing
Fran
with a lot
runs
of
the football
poise.
as well as anybody. So when you talk about what are the success factors for a young QB, a running game and a defense go a whole long way towards making him look good.
No question. But I'm speaking to his level of poise.
Yes. Yeah. It's incredible.
Which is just not. I'm shocked by that. I mean, I thought, maybe go in and run a real simple game plan. They've got the book wide open for him. He's running whatever they want him to run.
Yeah, he's stretching the field. He's throwing inside. Really appropriate that he beats Tom Brady on his first game ever. We'll see where that all leads. Anyway, let's get into some actionable info. Right. It is Friday. Thank you all for being with us. Dave, you want to talk Southern Miss -6.5 versus Rice? Bowl game going. Where are we betting? How are we betting this game? Not where.
Okay, so I've bet 5 games so far. One is a free selection. That's on my page right now. The other 4 are there's 3 of them at 3% plays, and I have a best bet on one of the games. So that's up right now if you want to buy a game individually. Or get the package with Ralph and myself. I think today's the last day for it because the Bulls get underway tonight.
Yeah.
So grab the package and get all of our plays throughout the postseason. As far as this game goes, it didn't make the cut as a selection. I think Southern Miss is the right side because Rice is really bad. Okay, Rice actually this game is a good argument for the fact there are too many bowl games. Now I say that from a fan standpoint. From a handicapper standpoint, they could have 80 bowls, and I'd be delighted because the more games, the better. This is a crappy game. Southern Miss should be able to defend Rice. The offense is not good for Rice. They turned them all over way too much. The quarterback situation is not good for the Owls. And Southern Miss should be able to carve out a running game, despite the fact they do not have a dynamic offense. I think they can do enough on the ground to control the flow and win the game. I didn't lay the points because I'm just not comfortable with Southern Miss as a favorite. But I would definitely lean to the Golden Eagles. I think they're the better squad. And if I were going to bet the game, it would be the Southern Miss side.
Yeah, I'm with you 1,000% on this game, Dave. In terms of I want to fade Rice, and yet I don't trust Southern Miss enough to cover as a favorite. Would you ever look at a situation in a game like this and say, all right, I'm going to lay it on the money line? I don't trust them to win by margin. It's not a good offense. It's not a dynamic offense. And, it's worth the price because I think they're going to win because I want to fade this other, because Rice isn't any good. They're a 5-7 team that, you look at their wins since the beginning of October. It's not pretty for the Owls. Would you ever lay a money line in this spot?
Nah. No, I'm not much on money lines anyway. I don't even know what the money line is here, but it's got to be, 170, 180?
More.
Yeah, probably more at 6.5. So, no.
Yeah, you're looking at 250s. Yeah,
it's got to be over 170. Dave Cokin joining us.
Yeah,
everyone.
One final thought. I'm not a totals player, but this looks like an under.
I didn't ask you about that because you're always like, I'm not a totals player. Don't ask me about totals. But as you were describing, I'm like, sounded like an under as well.
Man, speaking of an under or over, there's a 31.5 on the board in one of these bowl games.
Wow.
I'm not playing the over.
Yeah, I'm actually on that game. I have a bet up for my clients right now on that game. Dave Cokin, where are we at? Creighton -3 versus Marquette College Hoops. What are we doing?
Oh, well, Marquette's the favorite. Marquette's -3.
Marquette, my bad. See, Teddy? I can look like an idiot too.
No. You often do.
Yeah.
But getting the lines backwards, not making you look like an idiot. It happens.
So anyway,
go ahead, Dave.
unexpectedly, Creighton is on a pretty big losing streak. I don't think anybody envisioned this happening. There have been some excuses, though. They've lost to some good teams, and they've had some, not injury issues, but illness issues. The Arizona State game, they had like 5 or 6 guys with the flu. I get good information on Creighton, and that wasn't real public, but Creighton was not healthy in that game. The prior game, they were missing their big guy. It really hurt them defensively. A lot of things have gone wrong for them. And I think now we're going to see a situation where there's some value to be had on this Blue Jays team. They're good. Okay, they're a real good team. Their record is misleading at this point. I think they're better than Marquette. Big East opener. I expect a big effort. They're healthier than they've been. I like Creighton to win this game. I'm wishy-washy as to whether to play it because I want to see, that purchase sign on Creighton before I get involved in them. But I think moving forward, there's going to be some value to be had in the Blue Jays. And I would say there's some value with Creighton at +3 tonight.
So another game, Dave, where I agree with you 1,000% about the Blue Jays and the potential for Creighton moving forward. But I do want to ask you, and I think you've kind of nailed it. When you see a team, they've lost 5 straight, 4 of the 5 losses have been agonizing by 5 points or less. They've been in all these games. They just haven't been able to, and they've been stepping up in class repeatedly. So it's not like they're not battle tested. Creighton's battle tested. They just found a way to lose tight games consistently in recent weeks. But when you have a team like that that's lost 5 in a row, would you ever say, all right, now I'm going to just bet on them right here? Or is this, I need to see a buy sign before I'm going to buy them? You see what I'm asking?
Yeah. It depends on the team. In Creighton's case, I think I need to see the buy sign because they're doing some things I didn't expect out of Creighton. They're not shooting it well. They've been kind of sloppy with the ball at times. I think that'll be corrected pretty quickly, and I think the fact I'm going into conference play is very meaningful. But, yeah, I still want to see a good game out of them before I start investing in them. But if you're looking for action tonight, I would take Creighton.
There you go. Dave, let's turn our attention to hockey. Last night, couple of big upsets. We had the LA Kings beat Boston at +210.
What a weird team.
Yeah, and Philadelphia beat New Jersey, and this Philadelphia team, man, in all my betting years, I just stay away from Tortorello. I just anytime you think you figured that guy out, it's impossible. I stay away from the guy.
Yeah, the thing of it is, the Islanders the Devils killed them last night.
Yeah,
it was all Carter Hart. The Devils should have won that game going away.
You could say Carter Hart all day long. Sounds so great from a person who lived in Boston. Carter Hart. Okay.
You never lived in
Well, actually, I did spend some time in Boston.
Arizona.
Yeah, but I did live in Boston. I did live in Boston for a while, too.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Huh. Sorry, Lawrence. You were right. I was wrong.
You were right, and I was wrong. There you go.
Yeah. Arizona, Dave, +162 against the New York Islanders tonight. This Arizona team is also tough to figure out. I mean, they've had some great wins this year, albeit few and far in between. Where are we going in this game?
Well, the story on Arizona is Vemelka, the goalie. It's been sensational, and looks like he's in nets tonight. So that makes things a little tougher. But this will be the first time this year the Coyotes are facing a team they beat in the prior meeting. They went to the Islanders and won 2-0 in a pretty big upset. So I don't think you're going to have a problem with the Islanders in terms of focus on tonight's game. They don't want to get swept by the lowly Arizona Coyotes in Mullet Arena. So I think the Islanders get there tonight. It's a big price for a road favorite. The Islanders are not a great team by any means, and they've lost 5 of their last 7. But I would look at the Islanders here And with Malcolm playing as well as he is, and the Islanders having two good goalies, not sure which one's playing tonight, but they've got two good goalies. I think you might want to consider the under as well. I think goals could be tough to come by tonight.
Yeah, it's been bet down. Teddy?
Oh, I was going to ask Dave what he wants to promote. Great stuff. 3 solid opinions from Dave Cokin. What do you have going this weekend? And talk about that bowl special with you and Ralph Michaels.
The numbers for Ralph and myself the last 5 years in the Bulls are number 1 and 2 at WagerTalk. They've been great. In fact, the last 2 years, I'm 19-5 in the Bulls myself. I'm number 1 all time in profits in college football at WagerTalk. Had another winning season. Not a great year, but it's a winning season. And I've already played 5 bowl games. You're going to get a ball. All the Ralphs and all of mine for one low price. So check that out. And that's about it.
Excellent stuff, Dave Cokin, everyone. Dave, thanks for joining us, man. Teddy, before we go into your into what did bettors learn last night, I gotta stress to everyone, and I've mentioned it, but last night I finished Rogue Heroes. Oh my God, this show is there are few. I love shows, you know that, but this show just took me, man. This show grabbed me and kept me and hugged me and snuggled with me. This show was with me when I slept, when I ate. This show is a freaking masterpiece, guys. I don't know where in America you can find it because it is not on American Amazon Prime, I'm told. But Rogue Heroes, it is the story of how the SAS formed in World War II. The SAS was the first special forces unit ever, and it is spectacular. Teddy, what did you learn in the wonderful world of sports betting last night?
Well, let's talk about what we learned last night. Look, sometimes the NBA is going to make you crazy.
In the segment,
yeah, exactly what we do
about that. Yes, yeah.
Thank you, Lawrence.
Thanks, John Madden.
The NBA is going to make you crazy sometimes. It made me crazy last night. That's a piece of the puzzle. One of the things I try to do, I try to get out plays early in the day. And it helps for the clients where they can get down. You're not releasing something 5 minutes before tip-off. And it's something that helps. It's something that I've done throughout. And I'm not necessarily looking to change that. And if you start talking, all right, I want to release all my plays 5 minutes before tip-off, it doesn't work that way. So sometimes you're going to get the worst of it in the NBA. Sometimes you get the best of it. Sometimes you get the worst of it. It'll make you crazy. But last night it was particularly bad, all right? So I went out in the morning. I thought everyone was going to play. I thought it was a decent chance we would see Kawhi and Paul George. Well, then Kawhi and Paul George are out. And then Norm Powell's out. Reggie Jackson's out. And then later in the day, they're like, oh, we're going to also sit Ivanka Zubac and Luke Kennard. And that left L.A. without their top 3 scorers, 4 of their starters, et cetera, et cetera. You know, half their rotation was missing last night. And they played like it. The game was over by halftime. It was a non-factor. You know, Terrence Mann after the game, quote, it's definitely real frustrating. We had a good thing going, had a nice little rhythm, figuring out stuff again, about to start a nice little win streak, I thought, and then this happened. We just got to figure it out from here now. Sometimes in the NBA, they're going to happen. And I was getting tweeted last night, clients, you know, the line had moved 6-7 points from where I released. You know, where I released as a favorite, and now we're 5-point dogs. What do we do? And this is what I said. I said, you hold your nose, you hold your bet, and hope for the best. Sometimes, unfortunately, that's going to happen, but it's the truth of it. Sometimes you're stuck with a bad number. You're stuck with a bad bet. I'm not going to say come back and bet the other side. I'm not going to say come back and take more. Sometimes you hold your bet, and that's that. And that's the nature of the NBA. You don't win all of these. You're not going to lose all these either. Unfortunately, last night, I lost one, and it was never in doubt. They were never in the ballgame. That's what I learned last night, Prez.
Teddy, there's got to be something to be done about this. I mean, you know, the sports leagues are in bed with the sports books now. FanDuel, DraftKings, all these places are sponsoring them. There's a shift going on from fandom to bettingdom, whatever you want to call it. Like, this shit's got to stop, man. Like it, and especially in the NBA, it's out of control. You know, people buy tickets. They're like children hey, little Joey, I'm taking you to see LeBron and the Lakers tonight. They only come through Minnesota every now and again. Oh, thank you, Daddy. I'm so excited. LeBron. And LeBron doesn't want to play. What the hell, man? Anyway.
It's the NBA today. But it hasn't changed. This isn't different.
I know, but
it
needs to be fixed. It is different because Michael Jordan did not do this. Larry Bird did not be like, oh, hey, I need a day off for my mental health. Like, no, this is new, and it's annoying as shit.
Okay, it's not new. I've been in Vegas 25 years. It's been going on the entire time. The same argument you just had, I heard it 20 years ago. The exact same argument, the exact same way. It's the nature of the NBA. And what happens is guys come out for shoot around. Oh, I'm tight. You better sit another day. You don't have this stuff early in the morning. There's a lot of game time decisions. Where you're going to find out.
I thought soccer
an hour
players
and a half,
were
an hour,
wusses.
30 minutes for tip-off, who's going to play. And that's the nature of the beast.
Yeah.
The
difference between a hockey.
Your choice is, I'm not going to play NBA or I'm going to play NBA.
Yeah.
That's your choice.
Listen,
you don't want to play
the
NBA,
difference
don't play
between a hockey player and a basketball player. A basketball player is looking for a way to take a night off, and a hockey player is hiding their broken leg just so they can play. Ralph Michaels, how are you, my friend?
Doing great, guys. Love the argument.
Anything to add?
The only thing I'll add is this. The NBA has been very structured at the times of their injury reports. So I would say 95% of those injuries are on that 4 o'clock report at least 3 hours before game time. Yes, you do have the rare late occasion, but you can wait until that time if you want to decide to make the bet with the players involved.
Yeah, that's going to really do great for sales. Ralph Michaels, you understand that. Ralph, listen, we were talking about something yesterday. I've given you no notice. I do not expect a response, but maybe next week. Over the many, many years, even decades, everyone's always talked about, if a line is under -6.5, I think it is in NFL football, the team that wins covers somewhere in the 80% zone, 86% or something. The line is irrelevant if under 6.5. I was saying to Teddy, is that still a thing, or are we just, historically familiar with it so that we just continue to think that that's still a thing? You know what I'm talking about here?
Well, I'm typing it in, Prez. I can tell you that in the NFL since 2018, when teams have been a favorite of 7 or less, they've won 82.8% of the time, and they've covered 52.9%. So by no means is that true. There's a 29% difference from a straight up to an ATS. Now, if I go to 3 points or less since 2018, and my computer's slow, so go ahead and make your comment, and it'll pop up, and I'll give you the response.
Teddy?
Yeah, so this is what I'm thinking, Rob, because if it's 80, what did you say? The percentage that wins straight up was 82%. So 18% of them are going to cover automatically because they're dogs catching points and they won the game straight up. Plus, what do you say, 50-something percent, 52%?
52.
So it'll be in the 70% range, not in the 80 or 90% range, like Lawrence was talking about.
Correct.
Assuming
and 3 or less,
that I interpreted that data.
3 or less, 48% covered, but 70.3% won straight up. That's about 1,000 games since 2018 database. So when you have an NFL favorite of 3 or less, they win 70.3% of the time. They cover 48.2%.
Wow. Yeah,
that
like
sounds like a huge disparity for a 3-point favorite.
Wow.
That doesn't even make sense to me.
A 3-point favorite has gone 709 and 299. They win 70.3% of the time.
Right.
But they only cover 46%.
They've been 474 and 509 ATS, covering 48.2% of the time.
So you're saying that in this sample size of the last 4 years, There's been hundreds and hundreds of games in the NFL where teams were -3 and didn't cover, and they won the game. That means they either win by 1, 2, or 3 points, and that doesn't.
Well,
that
no,
doesn't
not
pass the smell
necessarily.
test.
But wait, Teddy, maybe they didn't win the game, maybe because we have to take into account the +3 side of that. Yeah,
You
no,
said that
I need
70%
to wrap
of
my
them
head
won
around
the
it.
game and only
Yeah,
48% of
Eddie,
them
there
covered.
have
Doesn't make
been-
sense.
Yeah.
I have looked it up. If you've been an NFL favorite of 1, 2, or 3, there have been 132 games in that sample size where you've won by 1, 2, or 3.
Okay,
Wow.
that is hundreds of games.
Wow. So as I was saying yesterday, Teddy, I told you I felt like that statistic was going away. And as it turns out, it is definitely still in play, but not like it used to be. Ralph Michaels, let's get into it, my brother. You want to talk Cavs and Pacers in the NBA, Xavier and Georgetown in college hoops, and we're going to look at the Frisco Bowl. Which one you want to start with?
Well, let's start with tonight's action on the Cavs, my hometown Cavaliers. I've been on a cold streak, no question this week. My only saving grace the last 10 days has been playing the Cavs under. You know, you look at the Cavaliers, they are 2-12 over under their last 14 games. They're 1-9 over under their last 10. The only game that's gone over was by 1.5 points against San Antonio. And we've talked about this on this show and many shows that I do. Having a trend is one thing. Knowing the margin of the trend is so important. If a team is 5-5 ATS and they're covering that spread by 7 points per game, you know, you've probably had some good wins and maybe some unfortunate losses. If you're 5-5 and basically you're even on the point per game different, you know, it's not that strong of a trend. But listen to this. The Cavs are 1 over 9 under their last 10 games. In those 9 unders, they've gone under by 19.9 per game. The average total's been 218. The average score has been 101.9 to 96.3. Cavs, the number one scoring defense. You look at the home and away splits for Indiana and Cleveland. They're a combined 10-18 over-under on the season and 1-7 over-under the last 2 weeks.
It certainly makes a lot of sense. Do you worry at all about the recent matchups between these two coaches? Because certainly, when they played last year, 127, 124, 120 to 113, we saw high-octane ball games. Even though we have teams that are certainly a Cavs team that isn't running with anyone right now when they don't have to. Do you worry at all in terms of series history? Do you worry all about Indiana's propensity to try to play fast?
Not in this case, Teddy. But if you have veteran teams that have very little turnover, I do put more stock into the recent series. This is the Cavs team that was playing rookies and a lot of young kids on that front court. And now they're an experienced defensive front court learning how to play together. So because the Cavs are so young and so many new players, I don't take last year's results into context.
Ralph Michaels joining us, everyone. Guys, please hit that like button. Please subscribe to our channel. We really appreciate it. Make comments. We take a look. I respond to some. Ralph, let's talk Xavier Georgetown. Look, I'm on this game. I got a 4% college basketball bet on this game. I don't have 4% plays very often. And just to let everyone know, remind them, I'm on a 19-5 run in college hoops. So, you know, I have deep respect for you. Your college basketball historically has been ridiculous. So I'm curious to know whether we're on the same play. What do you like?
Yeah, you know, I'm on one of those runs, Prez, that you lose by a point, you don't cover by 2 points. So I am hoping I am on your side. Congratulations on your streak. It's very noticeable how well you've done. But I will say this. I have one NBA play today, which was the Cavs under. So that was an actual client release. I have one college basketball play, which I'll be giving away for free on the college basketball show. So if you watch both shows, you'll get my entire card today. This was close to being a play, but it was not. And I'm on Xavier. You know, you look at the Hoyas, they were 0-19 in conference play last year. They had to go to the transfer portal. They didn't pick up any wild transfers. It was a mismatch of players that came in. And while they're getting offensive production, it takes a while to learn how to play defense, and it's very obvious with the Hoyas. I love what Xavier has done. Yes, they have 3 losses, but guess what? Those 3 losses were a top 23 offense of Indiana, a top 16 offense of Duke, and a number 5 offense of Gonzaga. You look at what Sean Miller did at Arizona. I went back and broke down Sean Miller in his first conference road game at Arizona. He did win his first season there, and he won 8 of his last 9. He does have his team prepared. And while Xavier, their only other road game was at Cincinnati, a game they handled, but Cincinnati fought back. They did win that game. I'm not worried about this. I think there's actually more pressure on Georgetown. When you went 0-19 in conference play, there's pressure on you to try to get that first conference win. I think that hurts this team that hasn't learned to play together yet. So color me the Musketeers for tonight.
Ralph says, lay it or don't play it in the Xavier-Georgetown game this evening. Let's talk about the Frisco Bowl for Saturday night, North Texas and Boise State. I got a play on the side in this ball game. You want to talk about the total. What are we going to do in Texas on Saturday night?
Well, last Friday we talked about a couple situations, and when there's a double-digit line in a bowl game, the over has hit 63% of the time. I think that makes a lot of sense. When you're a double-digit underdog, listen, we're going to have to score points to keep up with this team. This Boise team has no opt-outs. They have some guys injured, but basically everyone is there. I love the way they played. They're balanced, and they're going to be able to move the ball against a North Texas defense that, to be honest, has been horrific. They're number 111 in the NCAA in yards per play, and that's against the number 108 defense. When I look at North Texas, they've gone over the total 8 of their last 11. You have an experienced quarterback in Austin Noon. In fact, I think he's the oldest quarterback to ever play college football. He's leaving to go to the NFL, but he didn't opt out. I think he played 6 or 7 years for the Yankees before he went to college. You also have the running attack. Yes, Boise State's got a solid defense, but it's a situation where North Texas is balanced enough that they could run or pass the ball. Being in state within an hour from where they live is a big advantage. Teddy, I'm going to talk to you after the show about the side. It's such an interesting situation. Yes, there's a lot of times we get coaching changes, but it's not often you play in a conference championship and you fire your coach. I would say 95% of the time you play in a conference championship, your coach leaves to go to another team. So they fired it, but they have an experienced Bennett as their coordinator. I think Bennett gets to roll it. I mean, listen, you're a head coach for one game here. You have an assistant from Washington State taking over. I think he opens up the offense. I like over the total.
Nice. Well said. Ralph Michaels, everyone. And Ralph, you and Dave Cokin have this college football bowl special going. It ends today. What is it again?
$99 each. You go to Dave's page or my page instead of paying the $149 for any capper at WagerTalk or Sports Memo. No coupon needed. That special's on the page. And also, I do want to mention, number 1 in the NFL this year, 70% on the season. I've cashed 6 straight football 5% plays. I've got one loaded now for the NFL this weekend.
Ralph Michaels, everyone. Guys, we've got lots to go. We got a commercial break coming soon. We got Teddy's big game breakdown, Andy Lang. If we get 100 likes, the NFL Presidential Address. But first, I want to show you guys. Dan, get rid of Teddy. So this is the conversation that Teddy and I are having in the middle of the show. In the middle of the show. Yes, that's the conversation we're having. Dan, cue up the video, the commercial.
Have you checked out all the new handicappers at WagerTalk? If not, here's your chance. You can take 50% off your first daily or 3-day all-access purchase at WagerTalk using coupon code TRYWT. Our new roster of experts is 30 deep, covering sports from all around the world, giving you tons of options to choose from. All you have to do to redeem this offer is go to WagerTalk.com, choose a handicapper of your choice, and use coupon code TRYWT at checkout, saving 50% on your first purchase.
It is time for today's big game breakdown. Let's go to the NFL for Saturday and talk about the Baltimore Ravens and the Cleveland Browns. Right now, looking at the WagerTalk live odds screen, I'm seeing Cleveland, let's call it -3, total, pretty much 38 across the board. And someone's got, this is a head scratcher. What is Cleveland doing favored in this ballgame? These are the Browns' wins. It's the middle of December. These are their wins since November 1st. They beat Tampa in overtime. Tampa's no good. They beat Houston in a game with no offensive touchdowns. Houston's no good. That's their wins. They're not being asked to win here. They're being asked to win by margin. And I get it. Deshaun Watson's back, and the offense was a little bit better last week. But this is a team that continues to get in their own way. You know, where they have 9 penalties for 98 yards last week. I'm not convinced that Cleveland is primed to win this game by margin. Ravens, okay, Lamar Jackson's hurt. Okay, they have quarterback issues. They still have back-to-back gutty wins by less than a field goal. They're 6-1 in their last 7 games, the only loss coming by a single point. And you read the quotes coming out of this team, it's a hungry squad. The offensive line is dominating. The running game is there. This isn't a team that can't win a game when their quarterback is hurt. And again, it's not like Cleveland has to win. Cleveland has to win this game by 4 or more to catch this ticket. This isn't a series where we expect margins. This is a series where we expect tight games. I'll take the points. Real simple. Baltimore plus the 3. There's your big game breakdown. Back to you, Mr. Prez.
Yeah, Teddy. Teddy, do we have a hard stop, but not like we can go to 12:50 today. Are you good with that?
Whatever you need, Lawrence. I'm here for you.
Oh, thanks, sweetie pie. Spent half the freaking break being yelled at. Okay, Jessica, I want to talk about this Baltimore game, but Jessica writes, I wish they would talk about the Vikings game. Jessica, firstly, thank you for buying my All Access yesterday. I saw it. Thank you. I will have a page of info for you on the Vikings game. It'll go up in the next few hours. So I got you covered there. Teddy, I'm with you on this Baltimore-Cleveland line, but I like the under better than the side here. I look at this thing and I think to myself, man, 2017, that's still under, and that seems like a shit ton of points. I mean, you had Baltimore, 3 of the last 4 Baltimore games, 16-14, 10-9, 13-3. This game is like 16-13 written all over it, and that still gives you a touchdown to spare. I love your take on Baltimore. I think the under is the play here. Any thoughts on that?
I wouldn't play the game over. I haven't played many NFLs under 38 of late. You know,
it's tough.
It is. So I see your point. I certainly wouldn't bet an over in this ballgame. But if I'm getting to the window, it'll be side before I get to the window with total. That's why I used the side in my big game break, not the total.
Andy Lang, my brother. You're looking pretty smug today. Oh, Andy, you missed a hell of a prelude to this show. Oh, my Lord. Teddy and I literally screamed at each other for like 3 minutes. It was, Dan, I'm surprised you didn't tape it. You were uncomfortable. Dan was
Everybody was uncomfortable. Anyone that would have listened to that would have been uncomfortable, Lawrence. And then, of course, it goes 3, 2, 1. You guys are live, and we're all smiling. So
no,
that's the way it is.
Yeah. Okay, Andy Lang. Yeah. So Teddy and I are not having the greatest experience with each other today. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I don't understand why you guys don't just leave the mics on during the breaks and before the show. If we're going for views, we're going for subscribers. We're sitting on a gold mine. I mean, we're just sitting on an absolute gem if you just leave the mics on and stay live the entire time. I really mean that.
I did show my computer screen.
No one could read it, Lawrence.
Of a conversation that Teddy and I were having in the middle of the show. It had F words in it. It was capitalized.
Yeah, Lawrence is all capping me and stuff. Like, no, settle down, Beavis.
Yeah. I was trying to find the bold button. Andy, Nick Chubb, Mike Gesicki, and the Philadelphia 76ers. You got props on all 3. I hand the mic to you, brother.
Yeah, a couple things. So, whenever Prez, you do the bold and the all caps like things,
Yep.
you really should just call it handicapping. So, so I also
Oh,
have
did you work
yeah,
on that?
I'll be here for the next 5 minutes. Yes, and
Yeah. Well said.
Jessica asked about the Vikings game. I will just tell you that Justin Jefferson is probably going to go over on his receiving total. The Colts cannot stop elite wide receivers. Devontae Adams shredded us. Terry McLaurin shredded us. We just happen to play in a division where we don't have those
There's
huge
an
wide
us in
receivers.
here.
Well, you know how it is.
Indy, the Colts.
Yeah. Yes, the Colts.
Colts are us.
So
Oh,
yes, the
you
Colts
were
are us.
pretending to be Jeff Saturday again.
Well, I'm trying to get my team ready. But just, look at Justin Jefferson to have a big game. The Colts cannot stop the big receiver. Okay, let's get to the free plays. Teddy, you did a great job breaking down the Ravens and Browns. I like Nick Chubb under his rushing total. He's just had some bad games recently with Deshaun Watson at quarterback. He only had 34 yards against the Bengals. And 80 yards against the Texans is not a good game. He might have gone over the 74.5, but that's one of the worst rush defenses in recent memory. He had a huge game against Tampa, but he only had 19 yards against Buffalo, 63 against Miami, and he's just not getting the volume. He's had 4 games this year with 20 carries, and he's gone over 100 yards in each one of those games, but he's not getting that 20 carry threshold. And this matchup against the Ravens is just brutal. The Ravens, they held the Steelers as a team to 65 yards rushing, the Broncos as a team to 88, Jacksonville to 38 yards rushing. So they're not giving up big chunks. The Cleveland offense is very, very clunky. You also got to worry about Kareem Hunt getting some more carries. So I don't see Nick Chubb getting to that 20 carry mark. I think he comes in under this total, and I think this number is based on early season success, not what's been happening recently, and certainly not with this matchup. So take Nick Chubb under his rushing. This next one is a pretty easy one. Mike Gesicki, under 16.5 receiving or 15.5 receiving, depending on your book. His last 3 games, he has no catches for no yards. Buffalo has only allowed 542 yards receiving all year to tight ends. Earlier this year when they played, he had 1 catch for 6 yards. So you get a guy who's played bad and didn't have much production against Buffalo earlier this year, and he's done absolutely nothing. He's only had 4 targets in his last 3 games, no catches. So take Gesicki under.
Andy,
and then move.
Andy, before we get into the next prop, so just to reiterate, he has no catches for no yards, right? Because I thought maybe he had no catches for 6 yards. I just wanted to clarify.
No,
so
no catches in the yards.
For no yards.
Exactly, and no touchdowns, no receiving touchdowns as well,
or any dropped passes either.
Absolutely, yeah, and no votes to make the All-Star team.
Teddy is steaming. He is steaming. Go ahead.
He's not at all. He's Lawrence. While you're yipper yabbering in your head, okay, doing whatever, I'm listening to what the guest is saying and working on a follow-up question. That's what I do the whole time.
I'm excited for your follow-up.
That's
Teddy.
what I do.
Pumped.
So I'm not steaming. I'm focused on the job at hand.
10 out of 10, Teddy.
Talk to me about the 76ers.
I'm looking at their over team total 115.5. If you follow the NBA, you know that the Warriors are in trouble. They're on a slide. Steph Curry's out for a few weeks, and I think teams are going to smell blood in the water against the Warriors. They are just a horrible road team. We know that, and they're on a brutal East Coast road trip. They've played 15 road games. Opposing teams have gone over this 115.5 in 13 of those 15 games, including the last 2 where Milwaukee scored 128, Indiana scored 125. Steph Curry's not an amazing defender, but with him out, they now have Jordan Poole and DiVincenzo as their perimeter. That is a really bad perimeter defense. They already are bottom 10 giving up production to power forwards and centers, and the 76ers offense has been clicking. They've scored 133, 131, and 123 their last 3 games. So you get the Warriors on the road, no Steph Curry, a pumped-up 76ers team whose offense is clicking. I don't do sides and full game totals, but I really like the 76ers to put it to the Warriors tonight, but I'll settle with them to go over their team total.
Let's talk about Mike Gesicki for just a minute. Gesicki's long catch, 21, 30, 18, 18, 20, 16. And then last week, 0, 0, 0. No catches, no yards, only a couple of targets. So he had been doing this for extended stretches this season, and he's a guy that can go over with one catch. I want to ask you about a betting philosophy or a strategy there. When you're playing the under guys that can go over with one catch, like how do you do that? What's the thought process? What's the best way to play it? How do you come to the betting window with a guy that, if they target him once, you could lose?
Well, when you look at how they've been defended, and San Francisco did a fantastic job defending this team, and they're good against tight ends. And then the Chargers, he did have 2 targets against the Chargers, but he didn't catch them. The Chargers did a great job of forcing the wide receivers and the tight ends to the middle. So a couple of the targets that Gesicki got, actually both of them were to the outside, and that's just not throws that Tua can make. So I just looked at the defenses the last couple of weeks, and then you just look at the complete lack of targets. I mean, those games that he had those longer catches, you look at his targets, 7, 7, 4, 3, 4, 4. So in those games that he did get long catches, he was also getting a lot more targets. He's just not involved in the offense at all. And with this cold game, I think the Dolphins are really, really going to struggle.
So I want to ask you about the 76ers as well, real quick. You like that Philly total over? And it's basically a fade of Golden State, as much as any other factor. Isn't this the game? If there's one game that Golden State's going to step up and do something, isn't this the game with Curry out? They're going to play some defense? Because I was thinking about laying with Philly tonight. I'm like, I'm not going to do it because this is the game that Golden State, if they're going to step up, this is the one game they're going to do it. Does that worry you here?
If you can turn Jordan Poole into a good defender on the perimeter, Steve Kerr would like a word with you then. So I don't think they have the manpower. They've given up so many points to some of these teams. And I've been doing well with playing some of these player props on the centers and power forwards that go up against them. Embiid should feast. Looney and Draymond Green aren't going to have anything for him. So it's pretty tough to yes.
We're done.
All right.
We 12:50. The show shuts down. We got to get the NFL presidential address in. Great stuff. What do you have to promote in 10 seconds? Okay, 20.
5% NFL play is up on a 17-5 run in NFL 5% plays. I know, it's crazy. We cashed one last night. We have another one up for Sunday. It's been what we've been running the hottest in, so go grab that one. It's been an unbelievably big moneymaker, plus 56 units on those NFL 5% plays.
Great job, dude. Get out of here. Teddy covers. This week is just about over. You and I don't have to talk for 2 days. Thank God. Dan, cue it up. Okay, guys, I got to be super fast. Make sure to buy my NFL package. I've been rolling all year in NFL. I had a 2-6 Sunday last Sunday. Every week I have lost in NFL. I have come back the next week with a monster. One time I went 10-2. The next time I went 8-1. It's going to be fun this weekend. Also, I'm on a 19-5 college basketball run. 3 plays for you in the NFL this weekend. Cleveland and Baltimore under the total. Atlanta Falcons +4, and Dallas and Jacksonville over the total. Teddy, we are flat out of time, bro. Take us home.
Thanks for watching. Enjoy the games, and good luck all weekend. We'll see you guys on Monday.
Have you checked out all the new handicappers at WagerTalk? If not, here's your chance. You can take 50% off your first daily or 3-day all-access purchase at WagerTalk using coupon code TRYWT. Our new roster of experts is 30 deep, covering sports from all around the world, giving you tons of options to choose from. All you have to do to redeem this offer is go to WagerTalk.com, choose a handicapper of your choice, and use coupon code TRYWT at checkout, saving 50% on your first purchase.